Hey everybody! In this video we'll be talking about the Modify Data Columns feature in Campaign Automator. This feature allows you to modify data from your original data source, a spreadsheet, an inventory file, a merchant feed, without actually editing that source. Essentially, Campaign Automator will generate a virtual column that will modify the content of your data source so you can clean it up and adjust it without needing to touch the original file. This is especially useful if you don't have access to editing the data, or maybe your client gave you just view only access, or the data source is just not that easy to work with, which is why the modified data columns have 5 default use cases that you can use to address very common issues. Right, the first one being case change. You can change the capitalization of text, which is useful if your data has inconsistent capitalization that, as you know, the ad engines do not like. If you have inconsistent capitalization in your ad copy, it's very likely that your ad will get disapproved. Second use case, removing white space. So simply removing all of the white space from the text in the column. This can come in handy when you're working with URLs in your ad copy using data from your feed. The third use case, find and replace. As the name suggests, this will allow you to find a specific text in a column and replace it with something else. And actually not just text, but also maybe a specific character. You can also do that. The fourth use case is trim, which will help you remove words, white spaces, or specified characters from the beginning or the end of the text in the column. So let's say that all of your product descriptions start with some weird prefix, or your title starts with a prefix, or they have a suffix that you want to remove. This is going to help you with that. And finally, we have shorten text. This lets you specify the length of the text, which is useful if your column needs to fit with certain character limits, like in ad copy. You don't want your headlines to exceed the character limits, because obviously Google Ads is going to reject that ad. Now, what happens if your use case cannot be addressed with any of the available actions? In that case, please contact our support team, because we can evaluate that request and see if that is a column that our engineering team can create for you. Having said that, let's have a look at the inventory I'm working on today, and after that we can go to the tool and see a demo of the modified data columns. This is an inventory file I have view-only access to, and there are some issues that I want to solve. For instance, the title column contains the brand name, which can be okay, but the brand is in all caps. Apart from that, maybe I just don't want to mention the brand at all. That can help me save some characters if I want to include the title in the ad copy, in my headlines, for example. And I don't think I need to tell users that iPhones are built by Apple, right? That is pretty obvious now. Then in the description, I have some exclamation points that I can remove with the help of the find and replace functionality that we'll see in a second. And finally, in the brand column, we also see brands in all caps. So how do we address those issues? We have to go to Campaign Automator, and this is a sample template that I built for this video. But after you connect the data source, you'll see modified data columns. You'll see that section and the button to add a new one. The first dropdown is where you select the input, the existing column that you want to work with. The first one that I want to fix is brand. So I select brand, then in the action I use case change, and I'm gonna call this column brand new because I'm not feeling that creative today. And then the action details is just what I want to do. I want to change it to sentence case. You'll get a preview of how the new column will look like, and this is our new column that you'll be able to use in the template. We have that. Let's work on a couple more use cases just so you can see how easy it is to create these columns. Let's work with the title. This is a pretty cool functionality here with the trim option that I'll show you. I'm going to call this title new, of course. That's going to be the name of the column. And you'll notice that you have two options. You can simply replace a specific piece of text, but there are more brands in there. It's not just Apple that I would like to remove from the title. and I have a brand column. So why don't we remove the content mapped from a different column? So basically I'm removing brand from my title column, and this is how it looks like. Much nicer and shorter for my ad copy. Let's have a look at one more use case. And let's see here. We can work with the description, right? And find and replace. Description new. And we'll find this exclamation point and replace it with nothing. Let's see. All right, perfect. We can actually replace it with a dot. That would be better. We can save this. And before we preview it, why don't we have a quick look at how to use the modified data columns in my ad copy. I could, of course, include them in keywords, which I already did. And then in the ads. How do we do that? Let's edit this one. So the template, as I mentioned, already has the modified data columns, right? But if you're doing this for the first time, you just type in the open curly, you open a curly bracket, and that will open, will show you this drop down with the different column headers. In the path, maybe I want to use, let's see, the brand new column, and then the second path uses the subcategory, which was just fine. Then for the header, I want to use the new title, right? So everything will be clean because I'm using the new columns that I'm generating. Let's just make sure the description is using the right one. Yes. So this description will not include any exclamation marks. Let's save that. We save the ad group. And then we preview it. Let's see how the ad copy will look like. So we click here, ads, and we have some pretty clean, nice looking ads to create. So that's essentially it. Once you're done, you apply the changes. If you find any other inconsistencies, you can go back, add a new column, or just adjust the columns that you've already created, and that's all. Pretty easy. Now, if you have never used Campaign Automator before, or you would like to get a personalized demo of this feature, please reach out to support@optimizer.com or contact us directly from the interface. If you're not an Optimizer customer yet, we can also help you schedule a demo of the tool. And if you want to learn more about this and other capabilities, please visit our help resources that you can also access directly from the interface right here. That's all for today, and thank you for watching.